back with another haircut video. This is going to be a mid to low drop fade. Right now we're working on our first guideline. We got our Andes Masters closed lever. So that kind of starts right around the temple area, straight across behind the ear. Then you're going to basically hook it around the back, drop it low, and repeat on the other side. So as you're doing that, just do one side. Make sure the line looks pretty consistent on both sides, and we'll go from there. So staying with the Andes Masters, we're going to open that lever now, and we're going to create a new guideline right above the one that we just made, but we're going to go up maybe about a ½ inch from that guideline. So open lever, about a ½ inch up, just follow that guideline all the way through, and you're going to want to go over it a few times. Just be consistent. I mentioned it in my last video, but I think it's worth repeating. The foil shaver does such a big job. It's very important to really stretching out that blend, making your blend pop even more. So if you don't have one, make sure you get one. You got to use it. So we're going to go right below that first skyline that we made, and we're going to probably go about a ½ inch all the way around. Same thing, be consistent with how far down you go. Go over it a few times, make sure you get all the hairs out. And you're going to see that this will just create another layer to that blend, make it really pop. Well worth the investment, guys. Now we got our trimmers, we got our Andes T outliners, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to use that to get the line out that we just created with our foil shavers. So the foil shaver, you can see, made a pretty good line there, so we're going to use our trimmers to get that out. You don't want to have your trimmers flat on your skin, like flush. You want to use the corners, so make sure that you're using the corners of your trimmers. Just kind of pick at that line, as you can see, like I'm doing. You saw that there, I kind of flipped the blade around, so you really want to use the corners of the blade, pick at that line, and slowly but surely you should start seeing that line disappear. So now with our clippers, we're gonna still no guard, but we're going to play with the lever. And what we're doing now is we're working on everything in between the foil shaver up to the open lever guideline that we made earlier. So play with the lever, use the corners of your blade. You can kind of see it there. I'm really making sure that I'm stroking the blade with my hair growth pattern. So my hair kind of grows in a slight angle, like going into my face, not so much straight down, if that makes sense. So with the corners of the blade, make sure you're going with your hair growth pattern, and you're going to play with the lever all the way from that bottom full shaver guideline to the open lever guideline that you made earlier. So back with the trimmers, a little bit of cleanup work. I think I still noticed a little bit of a line from the foil shaver. So using the trimmers, again, the corners of the blade, and we're gonna just clean that up a little bit more before we move on. Now we got our one guard open, and we're probably going to go up about a half inch or so, go all the way around with that. Don't dig too hard into your skin with that one. It'll definitely make a guideline. It'll be a little harder to work out later on, so maybe pull off the top of your head a little bit with that, but one guard open, about a half inch up, go all the way around. Now with the one guard, we're going to play with the lever, and we're going to start basically softening up everything within that half inch or so that we were just doing. So play with the lever. It's mostly going to be closed at this point. Soften all that up, and then later on the zero guard should really help finish that area. the number 2 guard open. We're going to work right above that 1 guard that we were doing. Keep it open. You're going to go basically up to around the parietal ridge area, the area where the side of your head kind of curves into the top of your head. And make sure you're pulling off from the top of your head, so you don't want to dig into your hair and create another guideline. So number 2 guard open, right around to your parietal ridge, go all the way around. Something else that I said in my last video, I'll say it again. So I don't use shears. I don't use thinning shears. I don't use them, especially let alone on myself. It's very hard for me. So kind of to cheat that parietal ridge area, that blend from the top of your head to the side, I'll close my 2 guard at that point, and I'll go with the grain and with my hair growth pattern right around that area, just to kind of blend the two together. It does a pretty good job for me, so that's what I do. So now with the 0 guard, we're going to work on basically everything that we did from our no guard guideline up to the top of that 1 guard guideline. And with the 0 guard, you play with the lever. You can start softening a lot of that up. A lot of it here will be with the lever closed, but nonetheless, play with the lever. You know, the blend looks pretty good, but you can still see a couple dark areas, so the 0 guard will just kind of break that up, which will then allow the blend to stretch a little bit further. So work around that, do the same thing on both sides. Back with the number 1 guard, and we're kind of wrapping up this blend at this point. I think it looks pretty good, but we're going to play with the lever there, clean that up, but the blend looks pretty good. Now with our Andes Masters, we're gonna start working on the beard, or like in this case, more like the sideburn. But I like to have it kind of blend into the temple area, the bald temple area. So with the Andes Masters, we're gonna play with the lever. You're really gonna work maybe about an inch and a half within that sideburn. So, you know, probably go about an inch and a half down, open that lever, and you're gradually going to close that lever as you go up and to the top of the sideburn. So that closed lever on the top should start to blend pretty decently into your temple, but you know, we'll use the trimmers after to help that out too. So like I just said, you're going to use the trimmers now, and that should do a good job at finishing that blend from your sideburns into your temple. Use the corners of your blade as much as you can. Surprisingly, it does leave a pretty hard line. I'm talking about the foil shaver from earlier, so it does leave a pretty hard line. So you use the corners of that blade there on your trimmers, pick at that line, and eventually you should see it do a pretty good job at blending that sideburn into your temple. Now with the trimmer, I'm going to take out any hair that's underneath the bottom lip, like the soul patch area, if you will. I used to rock it with it, but I've been taking it off lately. And then underneath that, we're going to create basically a horseshoe to kind of line up that hair over the chin. Now with the clippers, we're going to have no guard, lever halfway, and I use that to take off the mustache, so be very consistent, go through it a few times, make sure that mustache hair is even across. Now back with the trimmers, I kind of like a full beard, so I'm just going to lightly just shape up a little bit of the loose hairs that I see. I'm also going to use the trimmers to line up the chin, the bottom of the chin area, the jawline, just to clean that up, but still keeping it relatively full. And then we're also going to use the trimmers underneath the mustache, right above the upper lip, just to line that up and make it look a little neater too. You'll see. Basio, if you're watching this, bless me with a haircut, please. I live in Connecticut, man. If it's CT Barber Expo, we meet up, I need a haircut from the master himself. But anyways, back to the haircut. So we're using the 245 shave gel. My last video I mentioned I didn't have it. I was using just regular lotion, but the shave gel helps the blade just glide through the hair better. Just makes everything easier with the straight blade. And the straight blade is already dangerous enough if you're not used to using one, so be very careful with it. Don't dig into your skin at all. Just be very careful, guys. I've cut myself way too many times, so careful with that. We're gonna do underneath the bottom lip area that we went through with the trimmer earlier, right above the mustache. We're gonna line that up, make that look a little neater too. And again, I can't stress it enough, careful with these straight blades, guys. So for my eyebrows, I personally don't use shave gel. I can't even tell you why, to be honest, but I don't. And I should have mentioned this earlier, whenever you're using your straight razor, stretch your skin. It'll help avoid cuts, it'll add precision. Stretch your skin, be very careful again. So that about wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. When I do my hair, I kind of do it just as you see there, a little to the side, a little bit back. But yeah, that's the cut. If you liked it, if you have any comments on it, let me know down below. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Consider giving it a like, a thumbs up, subscribe. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.